I would like to convey the greetings of Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, President of the African Development Bank Group, and further on his behalf to express our sincere gratitude to His Excellency, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, for his unwavering support to the African Development Bank in his efforts to foster sustainable economic development and social progress of its regional member countries. As part of these efforts, the government of Kenya and the bank are working hand in hand to accelerate the rechanneling of International Monetary Fund special drawing rights, SDRs, to developing countries through multilateral development banks, while respecting national legal frameworks and the need to preserve the reserve assets character and status of the SDRs. This innovative financing mechanism will strengthen the bank's ability to mobilize additional resources to help address Africa's development challenges and due to infrastructure deficits, food insecurity, rising youth unemployment, and the global challenge posed by climate change. This would have positive ramifications for our regional member countries, including Kenya, in attaining the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and the Africa's Union Agenda 2063, aimed at creating the Africa we want. Kenya is an important shareholder of the bank, ranked among the top 20 shareholders of the bank out of 81 member countries. Kenya has benefited from the bank's investment since it joined the bank on 24 January 1964. These investments have grown tremendously, and the ongoing portfolio is valued at about $3.98 billion. You can almost say $4 billion as of 30th September 2023, and comprises 51 operations. That is 37 sovereign operations and 14 non-sovereign operations. These operations are spread across the various sectors such as transport, water supply and sanitation, energy, finance, agriculture, social, and multi-governance. It is pleasing to know that the portfolio size has increased in value from $2.8 billion in 2018 to about $4 billion by the 30th of September, showing a 37.2% growth over the last 5 years. This is a testament of the strong ties that exist between Kenya and the bank, as further evidenced by Kenya's expression of interest to host the 2024 annual meetings of the bank and the fund. Honorable Governor, ladies and gentlemen, this memorandum of understanding that has just been signed on the hosting of the 2024 annual meetings of the bank group is a culmination of many milestones triggered by the request of Kenya to host the meetings. This was followed by a mission of the bank's technical team in February 2020 to evaluate Kenya's capacity and capability to host the annual meetings against a set of predefined criteria, including conference and meetings infrastructure, health facilities and services, information technologies and telecommunication, the availability of hotels to accommodate all expected participants, safety and security, to name but a few. During the 56th annual meetings of the African Development Bank Group and the 47th annual meetings of the fund, held in 2021, the boards of governors selected Kenya to host the 2024 annual meetings of the bank group from the 27th to the 31st of May 2024 here in Nairobi. Following this decision, the bank on the 22nd of September 2021 officially conveyed to the government of Kenya the notification on hosting the 2024 annual meetings of the African Development Bank Group in Nairobi, including the preparatory process to follow and the requirements for hosting the meetings. The signing of the MoU today, therefore, reflects our common understanding of the requirements for hosting a successful annual meetings of the bank, including our shared responsibilities. In a nutshell, the African Development Bank Group will be responsible for the provision of all the documentation of the various meetings. It will be responsible for issuing invitations to member countries, special guests, panelists, and other participants. The Republic of Kenya, on the other hand, will be responsible for providing goods and services needed to facilitate the smooth holding of the 2024 annual meetings. The annual meetings are the foremost statutory event in the history of the bank's works and activities. Often referred to as the governor's meeting, the annual meetings afford the Board of Governors the opportunity to consider the annual report on the finances, operations, and other activities of the bank group during the preceding year, and to adopt resolutions on key decisions. Additionally, various stakeholders representing the bank group's governors, executive directors, development partners, representatives from academia, civil society, organizations, the public and private sectors, as well as the bank management and staff, will work together to discuss the role of the bank group, the role that the bank group plays in global development context and its impacts on regional member countries. About 4,000 people are expected to attend the 2024 Bank Group annual meetings at this venue, the Kenya International Convention Center. We are very, very happy with the status of preparations for the annual meetings. As I've told you, PS, what I see is good progress towards making the KICC very functional. I wish to echo our appreciation to the government of Kenya for the hospitality extended to the bank's team during this first preparatory meeting. Honorable Governor, ladies and gentlemen, as we look forward to the annual meetings in May next year, I wish to reiterate the bank's commitment to work with the government of Kenya towards a very successful annual meetings. And like I always say, I look forward to Kenya's hosting to be the best annual meetings ever. And I'm sure, without a doubt, that Kenya is able to pull off the best annual meetings ever. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your attention. Asante sana.